Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you all for tuning into my 37th episode of Project Renaissance Man. What I'm going to be talking to you all about today is self love, and I'm going to give you guys some pointers on how to make it easier to begin to love yourself. Self love is an extremely difficult thing to acquire a lot of times because I don't know, I feel that it's a lot easier for us to forgive other people typically than it is for us to forgive ourselves. Um, and you see this a lot with people who are willing to stand up without question, without hesitation for other people, but they're not willing to stand up for themselves. And they're willing to allow themselves to get pushed around and treated badly, but they don't allow this for other people. And to me, it's oftentimes a show of just not loving yourself enough, to let those things go on. And it's almost a way to justify your, in a subconscious way, your mistreatment, the mistreatment done to you. It's almost as though you don't feel you deserve to be treated well because of things you may have done in the past, things that you are not proud of, things you are ashamed of. And so it's understandable, and at least most of us, if not all of us, have done things that we are very much so not proud of, and stuff that may haunt us even, depending on how severe our offenses were. They may linger forever, or linger for great amounts of time, although they don't have to. So I'm going to share with you guys a few pointers on how to get onto that path of beginning to love yourself. And these are things that I try to practice. And I would say my quest for self-love began probably in the best place it could have begun. And that was when I was at my darkest, lowest point in my life. And the reason I say that's the best place for you to love yourself and find this self-love is because more than ever, you need it at that point in time and in that place. What's interesting about this, though, is it's a catch-22. As badly as you need it, more than you could ever need it when you're at your lowest point, that also happens to be the place where you feel most unworthy of it. So when you're down there in the dark and you feel like total shit and like a total scumbag, a piece of garbage, that's when you need it the most. But that's when it's most difficult to find. So what's really beautiful about this, though, is if you do find it at that point, at your lowest point in your darkest time, that is the purest form of self-love that you can acquire, I believe. Because if you can love yourself at that point where you are extremely ashamed of yourself, you're not very proud of yourself, and you can find it there, then you can love yourself at any other point of your life, I feel. So it's like the purest form of self-love you can have. Because you are able to love yourself despite all these things that you may be even repulsed by. So it's kind of interesting and paradoxical when you think of it that way, because it's like, how can you even love yourself if you feel that bad about yourself? But I truly do believe you can. And so I'm going to get on to the pointers now. The first one is to find empowerment in the now. So this doesn't wash away what we've done, but there's nothing we can't go back in time to change things or reverse things or choose not to do things that have already been done. So it's important for us to look at the future brightly and say, what can I do now? What can I do right now to change, to make things better, to be a better person? Because the present promises opportunity for transformation. We are given every single moment allows us another chance to be what we weren't back then. So whatever we were that we're not proud of, we don't need to be that anymore. We can change it right now, at any given moment. The second pointer is that you need to accept that you are human and that your foresight and your knowledge are limited. We can only see so far into the future. We only have so much knowledge as people. And through the limitation in knowledge, it doesn't allow for us to be able to see things totally clearly. We can only see so far ahead of us, and that's where the foresight comes into play. And we're limited in that too. We're not mind readers. We can't predict what's going to happen. And so tied in with this is that life throws tough situations at us. And these tough situations oftentimes do challenge our convictions and our morality and our standards and our principles and the things we truly believe in and we swear to stand by and not bend on. These things are constantly under siege. And so if we do things out of character, things that we're not proud of course, and they have results that are really hard to face, we have to understand that at that point in time, maybe we didn't have a lot of time to think about the decision that we made, and we acted with the amount of time we had the best way we knew how. And we have to also understand that we become irrational and we're not thinking clearly, and most bad decisions, I feel, are a result of that. Irrational thinking. Well, irrational thought a lot of times follows fear and anxiety and these things. So it's understandable. Like, life affairs can be very complicated and complex and cause this kind of upheaval and throw us off our game and make us vulnerable to making bad decisions that we later on regret. So just understand you're human, and this isn't to justify things and to say, if I mess up from here on out, not to lower your guard and act like it doesn't matter, your decisions don't matter. They matter very much so, but it's just to say that understand why you've made some of these decisions. There are many agents at play when it comes to making these decisions. The third pointer I have for you guys is make conscious effort to change. You have to be aware. Otherwise, you're going to get caught in this pattern where you're going to just constantly do the things you're not proud of, and you're going to feel terrible for them, but you're not doing anything to change them. That's why you got to take a step outside of that and analyze this pattern and say, where am I going wrong? What am I doing wrong? And why am I doing it? A little introspection goes a long way. Ask yourself some questions. The fourth pointer I have for you guys is don't vilify your natural features. So you need to understand that making a distinction between things that you shouldn't be proud of and things that shouldn't receive your condemnation. So, for example, if there's a physical feature you don't like, say you got a mole somewhere, or you got a chipped tooth, or whatever it may be, you can't look at that and vilify that. It did nothing wrong. It's just a part of who you are, and you need to accept it. Whereas if you did something hurtful to somebody that you love, that's different. You can look at that and be like, that was terrible, But then again, like I said, you need to realize that you're a human. You made an error, and then try to move forward and fix that. And tell yourself, I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to be different. And make an oath out of it. And make sure you uphold that. But yeah, don't vilify who you are. We all have our things we may be ashamed of, but you have to understand there should come no shame by your physical, based on your physical appearance or features that you're not really gung-ho about, features that you may feel aren't attractive to you, that you possess. Maybe a weird laugh or anything like that. those things do not deserve vilification. They deserve acceptance. So I think I'm going to conclude this vlog episode. Thank you all for tuning in to my 37th episode of Project Renaissance Man. If you guys feel you have enjoyed this video and you have benefited from it, please be sure to like it, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And before I leave, I want to thank the latest 2 subscribers that have joined the Project Renaissance Man channel. Much appreciated. Thank you for viewing. And like I always say, if anybody has any feedback or they want to voice their opinions on things or add their own tips or pointers, please feel free to do so down in the comments section. I'd love to get a conversation going. So anything like that. Alright guys, well, until next time, I will see you all on Wednesday. Later.